if you're gonna do a Dragon Ball Z review, you gotta do it right. So, I am ready to go. Right, Brawly?
Yes, I'm ready.
Right, so let's get it on.
Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z are arguably two of the greatest anime series of all time, with the adventure and charm of the first to the non-stop action of the second. Truly, these two are amazing, with a legacy of anime few can come close to having. Now, of course, with the series so popular, there had to be video games, and out of a sea of Dragon Ball Z video games, Dragon Ball Z Budokai is one of the best. This game matters because it does a number of smart things that makes it an instant classic for Dragon Ball Z fans. With its graphics, cutscenes, what-if levels, it's no wonder there was an HD re-release of this game.
So, Dragon Ball Z Budokai is essentially a tournament fighter, and the most important thing about a tournament fighter is its combat system. So let's take a look at that first.
When are we getting to my part?
Oh, I'm sorry, Brawly, but you're not in this game.
What?
Dragon Ball Z Budokai is set up as a three-dimensional tournament fighter with a few gimmicks thrown in to make it resemble the anime. The first one is hovering in fights. When you get hit up, or if you back up in the right way, you start to hover. You can get back to the ground, but this doesn't help in combat at all. If anything, it slows your fighter down just getting back to your opponent. In fact, during tournament mode when I was hovering, I got slammed out of the arena because I wasn't fast enough to dodge. Obviously this was trying to appeal more to fans of the show, but it didn't work. Hell, other Dragon Ball Z games that came out earlier and later did this much better. This isn't a horrible feature, but we could have done without it. The second gimmick is the special moves. These are a list of special attacks that certain characters can do, like the Kamehameha, Gallic Gun, Death Beam, and so on. You use these as you would in any fighting game. By hitting the punch and kick button in a specific combination, you release the attack by hitting the energy button. But unfortunately, you can't use the D-pad. You have to use the punch and kick buttons, which does do more damage, but the option would have been nice. Now, there are two kinds of special attacks, regular and ultimate. The regular are the standard Kamehameha and Gallic Gun, but your ultimate attacks are Spirit Bomb, Final Flash, and Super Kamehameha. These techniques, once executed properly, are unblockable and deliver massive amounts of damage.
Plus, they just look awesome.
You know how they look even better? Put me in the game!
Brawly, just stay quiet till I call you.
Fine!
Other than that, the regular fights really don't have a lot of depth to them. I mean, sure, you can dodge, go into clash mode and all that, but all you really want to do is try to pull off special moves. But, to be fair, you do have a wide range of special attacks to equip, which you get by beating the campaign or buying them at the store. Now, let's talk about equipping special moves. Equipping your special move is only available for tournament mode and versus mode, which does seem right since the game is meant for a two-player experience. Each character has their own special moves and ways of powering up with the exception of the special moves. They do the same amount of damage, and there are some standout moves from the rest, but really, they needed more variety, or at least to tweak the amount of damage you can do with each move. Now, your ultimate attacks are the hardest combos to pull off, but when done right, go into a small cinematic that is unavoidable and in most cases takes away a whole bar of health or more.
Every character's cinematic moves look exactly as they did in the show, and as far as graphics go, they look great for the time. But the one thing that stands out from this game, from every other Dragon Ball Z video game, is its cinematic cutscenes. Right, Brawly? Where'd you go?
Eugene, just don't talk to me!
Brawly, have you been drinking? Seriously?
Shut up, Mom! You can't tell me what to do! God, you're just as bad as Kakarot!
You know what? I don't have time for this. I'm just gonna get back to the review, okay?
Bring me another bottle!
One of the greatest things about this game is its cinematic cutscenes in the campaign. Instead of using scenes from the show or still images, Infro Games took the time to make cutscenes using the game engine to tell the story of Dragon Ball Z from the Sand Saga all the way to the Cell Saga. These parts are well made and tell the story in a proper, respectable, abridged fashion, and in my opinion, there hasn't been a Dragon Ball Z game so far to match it. And on top of the look, the voice acting is great. It really feels like an episode of Dragon Ball Z with its music, sound cues, and they even got the show's narrator to recap and intro each stage. And speaking of the stages, there isn't really a lot of variety in the arenas you fight in, at least in the story mode. You got a field, the desert, Namek, and the Cell Tournament stage, and that's really it. You can, however, knock opponents through the stages and they'll fly through the sky till they hit into the screen, which I admit is pretty cool. But it doesn't work on every arena. There are a few weather variations for some of the stages, and they change once you blow them up, but again, not a lot of variety there too. When they blow up, it always looks the same, except for the Namek one. And for a fighting game, that is pretty poor. We want a ton of stages with great art design to pummel each other's heads in. And what we got here was kind of mediocre. Budokai features 23 playable characters from the series, which isn't too bad considering how far the story mode goes. You got all the ones you'd expect, like Goku, Cell, Frieza, Gohan, Vegeta, and so on. And each one, like I said, has a variety of special moves that are unique to them. And here's something that's gonna blow your mind. You ready? Transformations are not separate characters. I know, right? Why do Dragon Ball Z games think it's okay to make a transformation a character? It's not. It's a form. Luckily, this one gets that right, but unfortunately, you have to equip the transformation, and that takes a slot in your bar, which does suck. But for the most part, all the characters look as they should from the show, and even have alternative costumes, which is a nice touch. The soundtrack rocks and represents the crazy, somewhat metal feel to the tone of Dragon Ball Z's actual soundtrack, from its opening theme to the fights. Hell, even the menu music is nice. However, as nice as they are, there aren't that many, probably 10 tracks at most for the entire game. The soundtrack would later be changed for the game's HD collection, though.
So, now that we've covered everything else, it's time for a little history lesson.
Boring!
Go to your corner!
Fine, I don't care about the damn game anyway!
Dragon Ball Z Budokai was published by Bandai in Japan and Europe, while in North America being published by Atari. The game was released on the PlayStation 2 on November 2nd of 2002 in Europe and December of 2002. The game was later released on the GameCube on October of 2003 with all new cel-shaded graphics, sort of making it an unofficial definitive edition. Another fun fact is while the North America version has English dubbing from the Funimation cast, the European version has the original Japanese voices with several European language text translations. Kinda feels like North America got screwed on our version. The game was developed by Dimps, who made a whole lot of great licensed games, mostly Dragon Ball Z games. They did the whole Budokai series, Burst Limit, even doing great third-party games like the Sonic Advance games, co-developed Street Fighter 4 and Sonic 4 Episodes 1 and 2. Their latest game is the much-anticipated Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Wishing them all the best of luck on their latest project. One more interesting part about the game is that for each saga, the game has what-if levels, sort of putting you in an alternative universe, asking questions like, what if Vegeta beat Goku? What if Frieza got immortality? What if Cell absorbed Krillin? Yeah, some of them are funny, especially the last ones, but there is an amazingly funny extra story mode you get once you beat tournament mode on normal. But you do have to buy it in the store, but trust me, once you get it, you will love every minute of it.
Am I finally in the game?
No.
I hate you!
So, in conclusion, we have decent combat, cool special moves, great cinematics, and interesting what-if levels. I'd say that's a great package that any DBZ fan will enjoy. And if you're not a fan of the show, I still say check the game out. It's a great introduction to the series. Now, Dragon Ball Z Budokai is available on the PlayStation 2, GameCube, and was re-released on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 in an HD collection with Budokai 3. And in the end, I'll give Dragon Ball Z Budokai an 8 out of 10. I'll see you all on the next Universal Gamer. So, Brawley, did you enjoy being in the episode?
I'm going to destroy you!
Oh god, really? I'm not gonna let you ruin my episode or my show!
Die!
See you guys next time.